Romeo, Romeo, wherefore art thou Romeo? Or, what can you do with your paper after publication? First of all, congratulations, you had a paper published. But, what can you do with your paper after it's published? This might seem a strange topic. After all, once you've taken the time and trouble to produce your paper, you might think, well, it's my paper, I wrote it, I can do what I like with it. Unfortunately, this is not always the case. It depends upon the type of journal and its terms and conditions for publishing. After all, the journal costs money to produce. This whole area comes under a number of headings you might have heard about: open access, pre-publication, post-publication. But in general, the best word to use is self-archiving. And what you are and are not allowed to do with your paper depends on your journal and the type of access it allows. Obviously, there are different models for funding of journals. Quite commonly in open access, you as the author would have to pay up front the publishing charge, which for some journals can be a large amount of money. But the readers then access the journal for free. Closed access, readers access through a subscription, whether personal or institutional. This is the kind of journal we've got with the Journal of Visual Communication and Medicine. As subscribers and as members of IMI, you automatically get access to the journal, and that's part of your subscription. For details about the history and background of open access, either go to Wikipedia. JISC is an organisation that looks after the information technology for post-16 education, i.e. for colleges, schools, and also for universities. And their pages about open access are well worthwhile looking at. Romeo and Juliet. These are two parts that are synergistic, and they work together. And you can look at these in a leaflet. There's a link to the leaflet online. Also, they have individual websites. The idea is that Romeo provides a searchable database of publishers' copyright and self-archiving policies for preprints and postprints. So this is really the access end. Can you get hold of a journal, or what you can actually do with your paper? On the other end, Juliet provides summaries of funding agencies' grant conditions on self-archiving of research publications and data. If you actually have funding from a particular organisation, for example, Wellcome, the National Institute of Health in America, you'll have to put your paper and publish it in certain journals that allow self-archiving of research publications, such that anybody can then openly access your work that you've actually been paid for. You might think it's slightly strange, but you need to know what colour your journal is. Whether it's green, where you can archive the preprint and the postprint and the publisher's version or PDF. Yellow, you can archive your preprint, i.e. pre-refereeing, but you can't archive the publisher's version. White, archiving is not formally supported for any part of the process. Blue, you can archive the postprint, i.e. final draft, post-refereeing, or the publisher's version of PDF. To see what kind of colour your journal is, whether green, blue, yellow or white, you can go to the Romeo search site. Here I've opened up the sherpa.ac.uk website. You can see here Sherpa's services including Romeo, publisher copyright archiving policies, and Juliet. What we're going to quickly look at is Romeo, and we'll enter here the journal Communication in Medicine, and start search. So as you can see, the journal is a Romeo yellow journal. You can archive the preprint, i.e. pre-refereeing, but you can't archive the publisher's version of the PDF file. So what does pre-publication mean? If you think about the stage in publication, you writing and preparing your paper is all pre-publication, including your final submission to the online system. When your paper is refereed, proofread, and editorial changes made, these are publication versions, leading to final published version to be viewed online and printed in the journal, i.e. postprint. So what can you do with your paper? You can email the paper to requesters, that's fine, both post-print and pre-publication. You can put up on a board at work, yes. You can reference it, adding it to your CV and portfolio. That's not really applicable for your pre-publication, but it is for post-print. You can add it into your publication's profile. Say it's post-print. A pre-publication, you wouldn't want to do that because it still contains errors. However, for our journal, when it comes to loading it onto a site, for sharing research like ResearchGate or academia.edu or your own university's paper repository, you can't do that for the post-print with our journal. You can with a pre-publication. Similarly, for your own personal website and putting it on social media, for example, platforms like LinkedIn. If you've been supported by an organisation that requires open access, or you and your employer would like to make your paper open access, there is an opportunity to do this when you upload your paper to Scotland One submission site, but it does cost money. Lastly, don't let your paper die a death. Make sure you link to the post-print version and also let people access your pre-publication version.